Hello, hello. Here we are back this week with another episode of Decentralized Podcast. Welcome. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Miguel. And you just join us in our mission to decentralize the world wisely.
Wisely, very important, but more important than that is to grab your drink. Mine is coffee
Yeah,
in
I'm still
a
on water.
camera lens. Can you see how stupid that is? But anyway, it's fun. And sit back and relax because we will talk a lot of important things today. Uh, Today, our episode is dedicated to Web3 superpowers for humanity. And this is an attempt to see the other side of the coin because on the previous episode, we were talking about all the problems that we see in Web3 right now, and we see that we are kind of deviating from the whole purpose of blockchain
Yeah,
technology in the first place.
yeah.
And
Actually, we were just not just doing that, but argumenting why Bitcoin it is what it is and why they made it like that. And the thing is that there are lots of dangerous technologies that Bitcoin decided not to use, and but despite those technologies are dangerous, they are really powerful also. So we are going to talk about this in this episode.
yeah, so the whole idea is to give both sides of the story, right? And try to figure out what is happening and how to move forward with a better understanding of the grounds we are moving on. So, yeah, this episode is all about the Web3 space and what is uh, changing and what is coming forwards and the opportunities in this space and all that. So, uh, if you are with us, don't forget to smash that like button because it helps a lot the channel, and um, we want to bring this content to more people. So, if you don't have anything else to occupy your finger, just smash the like button. And so, moving on to our episode. Uh, we
Okay, where do
finished,
we start?
yeah, we finished the last episode talking about all the values of Bitcoin and why Bitcoin was done like this, and why we see some deviation in Web3 space from that, like values like scarcity, decentralization, security, trustless, permissionless, immutability, and so on. So um, today, let's see the other side of the picture uh, and what core values Web3 brings. Uh, Besides those that should be intrinsic, right? Those that come from Bitcoin that are inherited one way or another. So, one of the things that really makes it like a completely different reality, at least in my understanding, is Web3 is all about abundance. And
Yeah,
uh, as as an opposite to Bitcoin scarcity embedded in the system, right? Um, in Web3, we can create any amount of tokens we want, any amount of projects we want. Um, it's completely abundant. Anything that we build, if we want to build scarcity in Web3, we can, right? But and we should, because abundance in economics is something that to run from, right? Because if there is abundance, its price or its value or its valuation is always zero, period. So, yeah,
Yeah, and in any economic model, we should mimic what's in the real world anyway, and things are scarce anyway. So we don't have limitless resources on anything. So
besides money,
yeah, well,
money is limitless all the time. At least
as long
fiat
as long
money.
as you have a printer and some ink.
At least fiat money is
Yeah.
completely limitless. But yeah, I see. It's very interesting that we can do all of this, create anything, create any economic model in Web3. This is a very interesting idea, right? And uh, and it's not the same. It's not even. It doesn't make any sense to compare it to Bitcoin inscriptions or BRC tokens or whatever. It's a completely different thing. Um, those kind of uh, ordinals and stuff like that, those are inscriptions on satoshis, okay? And they are finite because satoshis are finite anyway. So it's completely different material. Let's not go that route, because I can see Bitcoin maxis or Bitcoin advocates of ordinals and those kinds of things implemented in Bitcoin right now, which I love. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it. They are not good. They are. I love it. I think this technology has all the potential to do amazing things. But in Ethereum, it's a completely different story. And in EVM blockchains and smart contract blockchains, we can
Yeah.
build smart contracts. That's a huge thing, right?
Yeah, it's a huge step.
Yeah. And so I really think that that's the major point, the major factor of abundance that came to light with this technology, with smart contract technology, with any blockchain that implements that kind of possibility, right? So, um, anything to say more about abundance, Miguel, that comes to your mind?
Yeah, no, I think you touched the soft spot there. It's that we have to leverage what the amount of abundance that you want to deliver to the project, and the thing is, despite you have abundance of on the resources that you have to create projects and to create sort of libraries and resources for your project, you need to leverage the resources within your project. So yeah, I think that's it for the abundance stuff.
Yeah. So there is almost limitless possibilities to create. right?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to say that if you launch, for example, if you launch a project that has a token and you just launch like 10 trillion tokens, and the value will hardly go up and down. And if you want to create some value on your token, you need to create some scarcity, and that's why lots of projects after that start burning tokens, and so that they can raise the value of the tokens. And that's to actually create the scarcity that they didn't create because they couldn't figure out or leverage exactly how the amount of tokens they needed to create at the beginning.
Actually, that's a known strategy to inflate token prices, right?
Yeah.
So you just get to a point where someone buys one token for a decent amount, and then you burn the heck out of it so that you can
Yeah,
just
you are deflating the token, and it's basic economics. So I
yeah.
think it's quite valid
It's valid, but the problem is that it's
as
done.
as long as it's a project token and not other people's
It's
tokens.
done with
I
that
think it's
intent,
valid.
right? It's just people just create gazillion amount of tokens, and then they burn it when they figure out that
Yeah,
there's
well,
a nice price in the
yeah,
market.
I know.
Um,
And don't get me wrong,
it's
it's
just
hard to,
hype,
yeah,
right?
it's hard at the beginning of the project to know exactly how many tokens you should create. So I don't know. It's valid. I think.
I know. We've been there. We've done that, right?
Yeah.
So, but
There's another thing about the scarcity of the tokens is whether you are inflating the token on time, because there are lots of projects that are inflationary. So they are creating tokens to create value to as the network increases in value theoretically, in order to have some tokens for the expenses. So it's another thing that comes around when we're talking about the scarcity or abundance of the tokens. So if you want to talk about it, I know
no,
you are
there
a
is
little
a.
bit against inflationary tokens. I am
I'm
also,
not.
but
I actually no,
I don't know. No,
no. What I am very against is bad economics,
yeah,
and that's the problem, right? Uh, if a project has an inflationary token, but the economics are well designed so that
yeah.
all the incentives match on
Mhm.
one side and on the other, on the demand and on the supply, everything works.
I know,
And
and my opinion about that is that the inflation should increase with the value of the network, which is a little bit hard to estimate.
but it's possible.
But
We've done
no,
that already.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's not easy to estimate the value, the current value of the network, and you would also have to account with deflation if the value goes down.
Mhm.
So, and I don't think any or very little economics account for that.
No, but we've done that in projects in
Yeah.
private projects, and it's very interesting to see things like this because, and that's the whole point of this discussion, right? To build decentralized apps and to create economies. A decentralized application is nothing more than that, right? It's some uh, array of smart contracts or protocols, as people like to call them, that implement the rules of an economy. That's it,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't make any sense to implement it further on blockchain. So the blockchain part should be limited to that. It's the rules of the economic model on chain. So and and those rules should be designed in a way that everything lines up. So if the system as a whole is growing, why not inflate it? It's not a problem. And if we design a system that generates value within it, it makes all the sense.
You have the two. You have two main paths that you can take from that. Either you inflate the token and you maintain the value of the token, or you maintain the number of tokens and the value of the token will grow. So you have both. You have a choice to make there.
Exactly. But what's interesting in inflationary economies, good inflationary economies, is that you can create positive sum games, which is something that we cannot wrap our minds around usually. For humans, the natural thing is if I give you something, I lose that something and you win that something.
Yeah.
Right? It's what we usually think as the natural way of doing things. And positive sum games is a completely different beast. Uh, it's something that we can generate together, and the result will be higher in value than my contribution summed to your contribution.
Yeah.
And this is very beautiful, and it's a completely different economic design that I would really love to see more of in blockchain, because I really think that there's a lot to win in economic models like this. Of course, there is the turnaround when we reach bear markets and everyone goes away with high volatility. All these projects have
that
a
happens
hard
when
time to sustain.
that
But
happens
it's
when you
possible.
don't have
We've seen that.
when you don't have that much amount of people that you have in traditional economic systems. So it's like a little wave. So you have a lot of water or you have no water at all. So it's more or less what happens here.
You are talking
So
about water because of liquidity.
of course. And as the ecosystem grows, there are people that will tendentially will stay because they don't want
Yeah.
to be moving around. So the problem right now is that it's a very thin layer of investment, and it's the last layer of investment. So people have things invested on the traditional system. First, they need liquidity, and that's why in big crisis, people just remove everything from funds, investments, whatever, to have liquidity to pay the bills. And then after that, people will invest in stuff like money, oil, electricity, whatever. And then I think it's the last layer because it's newer. It's the crypto space. So it's the first thing that people withdraw money from. It's
Yeah.
the crypto space. So that's why we see this huge volatility on bull and bear markets.
As I usually said, when the shit hits the fan,
It's first on crypto.
It's the volatile bags that go away,
Yeah.
right? It's the more
Exactly.
volatile bags, and yeah, that's natural. It's natural in human psychology, but
Yeah,
things
but
are
I
changing.
was saying that this happens a lot in crypto because it's very new. It's the newest market here.
Yes, but the things are changing, Miguel.
Yeah, I know. And
People
after
people
and
are
honestly, believe me, I think this sec witch hunt was really good, because I think it's bringing a lot more people to the system, to the ecosystem, to the crypto space, and I think the next bear market will be much bigger than anything that happened before, because I think the sec just
the
cleared out, wiped out everything that was
sorry,
bad.
sorry. You said bear market, but you meant bull market, right?
Of course, I said bear market.
Yes.
Yeah, you got me. Uh, but yeah, thanks for correcting me. And I think this sec witch hunt just wiped out everything that was bad, and people really saw that, because it was really on the media right now, and people just understood that all the bad guys, all the bad actors were put aside, at least most of them, and the rest of it, it's quite trustworthy. So the sec couldn't pick any of those guys
I don't
out.
believe that all the bad guys were put
No,
away.
I said most of them, but
At least while Justin Sun is continuing with his pump and dump schemes,
yeah, of course.
there is always
Yeah,
trash
yeah.
to be clean.
Yeah, and
Sorry, guys, if you are Justin
it's
Sun
good. It's
lovers,
good to
I'm
have.
not.
No, but it's good. It's good to have some bad actors around, because that's how the space evolves. So if you don't have bad guys, you don't have increased pressure to have security or to have better things. So yeah, bad guys are welcome in a certain way, and in a certain amount, so that we can improve the crypto space.
Yeah, and the guy is so dumb that usually makes some very, very funny things that I actually like to watch some from time to time before I get sick of it and tired. So yeah, but there are more like him. Okay, but
Yeah, no,
I
he's not the only
agree.
one.
I
He's not
agree
the only
with
one.
you
Yeah.
that at least the worst guys were purged, and yeah, Justin Sun is an OG in this space, and he knows how things function, and he's good at doing his thing. I don't agree, and I have the right not to agree and to say that I don't like the guy. I probably will say the same about me, and we are fine this way. So
It's mutual.
yeah, that's it's the beauty of trustless, permissionless systems. We can agree to disagree,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly fine, right? So next
Okay, you want
topic.
to say anything about abundance, or that's it?
Now let's go. Let's go
Yeah,
to
okay.
openness of Web3.
Okay, let's go for that.
I think you were anxious to talk about that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to
So
know
open
what you
up.
mean by openness, because there are several things that you need to know about openness. But what did you mean by openness?
Well, the idea of an open system is that things can be plugged in, right? It's the opposite of the closed system that Bitcoin has, which is that and period. That was what I thought about this topic. Is there is beauty in simple things. I love simple things. I think if we can do it simple, stupid, we should
Yeah,
always. Okay, but there is value also in Web3 because it's an open system.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this. If we couldn't implement new things, who could do it? Actually, I want to tell a story about this. It's a funny one, because I am an OG in this space. I came before there were smart contracts, right? And smart contracts are not a thing at all. And uh, there was not, the idea was not built yet. And so there was Bitcoin, and there was the other forks of Bitcoin, and there were other technologies built as blockchain technologies, but completely different from Bitcoin, completely developed from scratch. And on those technologies, there was, for instance, the first DEX that existed, completely decentralized exchange, was BitShares, right? It was a completely new blockchain system implemented by what's the name of the guy? Do you remember? There was a lot of many years. I don't remember the name
Yeah,
of the guy.
the guy from US.
It will come. It will come
Yeah.
during the episode, I'm sure. But the guy developed it. It was very performant, like hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, or millions even. And it was a single-purpose blockchain. It was a DEX, right? And then he implemented Steam blockchain, and I was a developer in Steam blockchain, and it was a single-purpose blockchain as well. So the purpose of it was to implement a social media network like Reddit. So people put posts and people comment on and like and
So
share and blah blah
Dan
blah.
Larimer.
Dan Larimer, exactly. Thanks,
I was
Google.
searching for the guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Dan
Well,
Larimer.
Google is there when memory lags.
Yes. So the thing is, it was a single purpose blockchain, and many applications were built on top of that, because even in a single purpose blockchain, people can get creative and implement stuff on them. And on that case, every transaction on that blockchain had a metadata field, right? And on that metadata field, we agreed, or people that implemented dApps suggested a way to use that metadata field for their app. And that was the way to implement stuff, like creating protocols for the metadata field, right? And it's funny because many years later, that's what we are doing with inscriptions in Bitcoin. That's the same thing. It's the like using opcodes, blockchain opcodes, to put metadata in the Satoshi or in the Satoshi transaction.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. This is the openness of this system. And Bitcoin is a very closed system. So we need to get creative to create those things, right?
Yeah.
And we did it back in Steam time in 2017, to implement dApps on that blockchain, because it was a single purpose blockchain. It was just for that. And we implemented circumventions that became protocols over it.
Yeah.
Right. And with Web3, we don't need to do those things. Right. We are open. The system is open for us to get creative and build stuff. And that's very interesting.
You still do it. We still do it because even though it's you have lots of resources to use, there are still quite a few limitations on the system. So you still need to use that.
Of course, but we can do whatever, right? Smart
Yeah, you
contract
have a
can
lot of
be,
potential. You have a lot of potential. You don't need to hack as much,
yeah.
but sometimes it's still needed.
Speaking of hacking, I love that.
Yeah, but
Um,
we still have a little bit to say about openness.
yeah,
So, do you want to jump or let's finish the openness stuff?
go ahead. If you have
Okay,
more stuff to
so
say,
there are
just
some other things
openness yourself with
that we
us.
need. There are a couple of things that I would like to mention about openness. And one of the things is we love open source, of course. We've been open source developers for ages, uh, and this
We even
most
do that
blockchains,
professionally. So
yeah,
yeah.
and personally. So we most blockchains are open source, and most projects will inherently be open source. At least most smart contracts are open source because the blockchain is open, and anyone can see what contracts are in the blockchain and get the code from it. Um, so this is one part of the openness that I wanted to bring. The other one is the transaction openness. So every transaction is visible to everybody. So
Mhm.
it's open to everyone. It's clear. There's nothing hidden there. So this is the other thing that I wanted to bring out about openness, which is most blockchains. Well, there are other blockchains that are closed, but most blockchains and the important ones are open in every sense.
Mhm. So the first one was uh,
It's about being open source. You can
open source.
just
Okay.
peer review all the code, see what's going on there,
You,
and
I
even suggest improvements or
yeah.
beat the crap out of the
That's
of the
that's
contract
that's
to see
beautiful.
if you can hack it.
But I just
Uh,
wanted to add some point because
do you
not
want to open
every
yourself too?
not every project is open source. So
No, I know.
there are projects on blockchain that are not open source, and um, I advise everyone that is looking for interesting projects to invest in and stuff like that. It's a big red flag if a project is not open source, if the code
I do
is
agree.
not open sourced. Okay, at least on the protocol level. On the front end level, it doesn't matter that much, right?
Yeah.
Because as long as the protocol level is highly secure and highly audited and stuff like that, the front end can't do much harm,
Yeah.
right?
The front end is usually just to simplify the interaction with the smart contract.
The only thing that they can do is like phishing attacks and stuff like that. And if phishing attacks are even easier if the front end is open sourced, because the hackers have the complete source code. They just can fork that project or copy
Yeah.
that project and put another server serving the same thing and sending funds to their wallet instead of the contracts that the funds should be locked in or something like that. So that happened a dozen times, and it will happen a gazillion times
Yeah.
more,
Well, yeah.
right? So, but it's very good to have open source code. I really love it, and it's the only way for us to not trust but verify code, right? And that's very bad when we get to a protocol and we go to Etherscan or BSC scan or whatever chain you are using, scan the Explorer sites.
Yeah.
And when you go there and you go to the contract tab on a smart contract and you see nothing, that's the first thing that I really get very shocked when I am investigating a protocol or something like that. If there is nothing on the verified tab, uh, there is a red flag right there. If there
Yeah.
is something in the verified tab and it's very complex and very cumbersome and very strange, that's something to dig further, right? But there are very badly written projects, at least very hard to read, that are very good.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there are very beautiful aligned code projects that are very badly implemented, and they have bugs everywhere.
yeah.
So, but at least
I
you
usually
can
say,
check, right?
yeah, I usually say that software development, it's an art because it has to be a balance between readability and implementation of the code. So it has to
Yeah,
be well implemented, but it's also very useful to be readable. And not
yeah.
just because of us, because we have to
And
maintain our own code. And if it's not readable, you won't know what you implemented in 3 months.
usually pump and dumpsters don't really care about maintaining their own code.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
well, I know. Yeah.
so
It's just something for that.
what's
Yeah,
what's the worry there, man? No,
yeah, right.
so that's a funny one. But usually it's like that. When you see bad code, just dig further because
Yeah,
probably it's very bad code. Really,
yeah.
it's not just
Usually,
badly written. It's very bad.
yeah, I do agree.
Yeah. So, and the next openness that you talked about was,
It was the transaction history because yeah,
yeah,
it's all clear. You can go there and you can check whatever you want in previous transactions from the beginning of the blockchain until now. Uh, and yeah, it's all clear, so that you cannot hide anything there.
yeah. Oh, I really think that we had to start somewhere, and it's a lot harder to implement hidden transaction histories on trustless systems because it's kind of antithesis of one another, right?
Yeah,
If you cannot see what's inside, how can you prove that it's right?
yeah,
Right? There are technologies for that. There is zero knowledge proofs and stuff like that, and there are a lot of other ideas like ring signatures and stuff like that. But the problem is that it's a lot harder to implement, and we can see how much effort has been put to move Ethereum, for instance, from proof of work to proof of stake.
mhm,
Um, it's like uh, replacing the engine of a Formula One at 300 kilometers on the race,
yeah,
right? Uh, and it was done successfully, but it's very hard. And
yeah.
I completely agree that
And,
we had to
and you know
start
that
like with everything
it
open.
required a lot of testing. They went through a lot of a huge
Yeah.
testing phase. So yeah,
So
when they got it right.
yeah, and that's the beauty of this space. People really learn to do software properly because there is only one chance, and that's it.
Yeah,
Usually, when you implement a smart contract or some functionality, you should be really certain that that shit will work, right? Because when you put it
Yeah.
out to the wild, if it doesn't work, if there is a hole in it, it's just a matter of time, or it's just a matter of liquidity parked there.
Yeah.
When it's enough liquidity, people will break this shit, and there's nothing
Yeah.
you can do
Exactly.
about it, right? So, yeah, the openness in that case is, I think it was inevitable, but I think we learned that we need privacy in blockchain technology.
Yes.
And we learned that the powers that be don't like it.
Oh, they do.
And
They do.
they do
If
for
it's for
them.
them. Yeah.
They like for them, but they achieve the privacy they want by having trusted blockchains that they control,
Yes.
right? But on public systems, they don't want privacy. They want everything clear so that they can just figure out if you are paying all the taxes that you should, or if they can extort more taxes from you
Yeah.
just because they can.
Yeah. And
And
that's one of the dangerous things that are coming up, because since everything is open and traceable, they know every penny that you move,
yeah, and
and
that's
it's trackable by a computer. So it's not like I'm giving you a bunch of bills, and you are taking like a few thousand euro uh, by hand. They don't know about it. But if I
by hand in
make the
cash, right?
in cash, yeah.
Yeah,
And but if I make a transfer in a blockchain, they will know.
yeah, of course. And we learned that they don't like it. They don't like that technology. They don't like the existence of that. They would make ridiculous. They did, and they will continue doing ridiculous things like arresting developers or killing people if they can, to try to prevent that from happening. But that will happen, and I'm pretty sure it will. Tornado Cash, Tornado Cash was just one. 1,000 more will appear, and there will be some that will work, and that will be hidden. The origin will be hidden enough, so that the powers that be cannot blame anyone and just go and destroy uh, that person's life just because they want to show off their strength and their power, right?
Yeah, and we're talking about that open part, because people will think about illegal business and drug dealing, trafficking, guns, stuff like that. But there is a very explicit and a very good use case for having some privacy, which is the health department. I don't want my health details being exposed on an open blockchain. So I want some privacy on that.
Do you want some privacy?
Yes.
No.
So this is a very good use case for that.
If you are wanting to hide something, it's because you are a bad guy.
I know I am a bad guy.
No. No,
but
that's
yeah,
what they say. That's what
no,
they say just
that's
to
what they
confuse
usually
people.
get into.
Yeah.
They usually go to drug dealing and mafias and whatever. But this is the the health business is one a very good use case that where people need privacy. Another one that I would see would be education.
There are a lot of them.
Yes,
There are a lot of them, Miguel.
everything that regards my life that
Yeah,
can be on a blockchain should be private if I choose to.
we deserve our privacy at
Yes.
all times, except
Yeah, but it's important to refer this because usually people's minds go to
I
mafia
know,
stuff and
I know. I want to make that
laundry,
clear,
money
guys.
laundry and stuff like that. But there is a
Yeah,
very important privacy issue here on
there's
the
a lot of
blockchain
them,
space.
and
No, it's one because there is no privacy.
yeah, I want to make something clear for our listeners, guys. I hate to tell you, but you've been lied to.
No
When
way.
when they come and they say it's because of money laundering and terrorist financing,
I forgot about terrorists.
it's not that. They don't give a fuck about terrorists financing or money laundering.
Yeah,
They just want your money,
yeah,
right? They just want to tax you forever,
yeah.
and the higher they can. That's the
Yeah,
only thing that
there
matters.
is this slight detail because they don't really know exactly how high they can tax you, but with the blockchain event,
They will.
uh,
They
they
will
will know.
know. Yes.
And
And that's
as
the
people
problem.
stop using money, real live money, they will know every transaction that is going on in the world.
And one thing that's funny for me as an economist, and I really love this these ideas of uh, how things work in economy. One tendency that I've analyzed is that before, in traditional finance, whenever we wanted to make something hidden, we would use uh, cash. So outside the institutions' uh, rails,
Yeah,
right? We use cash for our day-to-day lives because nobody gives a shit and shouldn't give a shit about if I go to the supermarket buying condoms or not, as a married guy. So uh, and many other stuff, right? So um, that's the way in the traditional system. We use institutions for everything, but the day-to-day life that we don't want to share with others, and we don't want to have records of,
yeah.
right? Right now, it's the opposite. When you want to stay hidden, we don't use the blockchain; we use institutions.
Yeah,
This is so beautiful because blockchain is transparent, right? And everything is traceable. And when you move to an exchange, uh, at least from that exchange to fiat rails to everything else, seems that lost the track of transactions. It seems that people just can follow transactions on chain right now.
no,
They lost
it's
the
a
other
lot more
vehicles.
efficient because it's a lot more
Yeah,
efficient and you can just see the transaction right away as soon as it's done. On a bank, you will have to wait for the central bank to send the transaction. It's usually a huge file with terabytes big, and the bank will have to processing overnight, and it takes a lot of time for it to process it, and then the legal institutions will have to get that information from the bank. So it's
yeah.
a little tough process around, despite that it's open if they want to. If they want to dig on you, they will.
Anything in
But on the
traditional,
blockchain, you can just code a little program, and you have instant information. So it's
Everything
a
in
lot easier.
traditional finance and in traditional systems takes forever.
Yeah, it's
So
heavy. It's really
that's
heavy.
that's the thing. And with blockchain technology, that really changes, right? We get used to this technology, and then we just cannot live with it without it. I can, and every time I have to use a bank, which is like when I have to put some money there for paying the bills that I cannot pay with a card, like electricity bill or payments to my overlords state. Um, I have to pay with banks, right? They
Yeah.
don't accept crypto or they don't accept cards. So yeah, every time I have to use that shit, uh, I just get annoyed.
Oh yeah.
The last time I went to a bank, I went like it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I went to a bank to make it to a bank to make a deposit, and the guys told me, "Sorry, I cannot accept your deposit because we are only accepting deposits in the mornings."
No, the traditional banking is so inefficient
And I
that you have
left and
one
I
of the
went
biggest,
away because
yeah, one of
what
the
can
biggest
we do?
banks. No, just get this, one of the biggest banks in Portugal. uh, just if you are going to make a transaction after 5 p.m., they won't do it. You have to reschedule for 2 days after. And the thing is, because you know how, because this is like a state bank, right? And you know how state employees work. It's 5 p.m. They start shutting down everything. So the computer does the same. It shuts
I
down and goes home.
I have one very good story about that thing. Uh, there was a time in the transition from Web 1 to Web 2 in Portugal. In Portugal, we have an entity that governs the names for
Oh
companies,
yeah.
which is RNPC. And in the transition between Web 1 and Web 2, they were one of the first systems to implement an online search to see if the name was available or not for you to register, like domains, but for the traditional companies. And we could submit the requests online. It was very cool. And I was loving that. And I really laughed out of my chair to the floor, literally, when I realized that the website would shut down at 5 o'clock. But that
it's
was
it's what I'm
last
saying. It's what
century
I'm
or,
telling you.
or
No, it's
early
what I'm
this
telling
century.
you. The computer just shuts down and goes home.
Man, that was so
It's an it's a
funny.
it's a
When I
nine to
saw
five
that,
job.
when I saw
The
that,
computer is being paid
stop.
for a 9 to 5 job.
I just couldn't stop laughing because it's so ridiculous. Man,
Yeah, it's exactly the same story
yeah.
that I'm telling you with the bank transfers. So
That was really funny. Thanks God today they have servers that operate 24/7.
yeah,
Uh,
no, I think this bank
but I'm
is
not
still the
sure if
same.
they take vacations or not.
Yeah,
The servers.
I think they should. I think they should, because if the computers are working with the same schedule as a regular employee, they should also have vacations. My opinion.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah,
And AI. What do you think about vacations in AI?
I think AI should also be paid and should also be work from 9 to 5, and also have vacations.
Okay. Okay. Therapy.
And
I
I
think
mean
you need therapy.
that's why you have more than one service, because when one is on vacations, you can use the other.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay. You should start seeing some therapist.
Yeah, I know people keep saying that, but I just don't. I
Okay,
don't. I don't give a fuck.
let's move on. Let's move
Okay,
on.
so what about? Oh, so we jumped about decentralized apps. So do you want to talk a little bit about this?
No, I think we touched a lot of the decentralized apps parts on the openness and abundance, and we were talking messing all around the concept
Yeah,
anyway.
well,
But
we
if you
can
want,
just
to say
yeah,
something about that,
yeah, we can
just
refer that decentralized apps that you see today are usually not decentralized. Just be aware of this, guys. We will discuss this, of course, because this is one of the core subjects in our podcast. It's because decentralized applications usually have a lot of centralized points. So, but I think this is
even
a
the big
very large,
ones.
even the big ones, mostly the big ones.
Yeah,
So this is too big of a subject, but keep this in mind, and we can jump to interop.
yeah. Interoperability is one of the big things in Web3 right now, and um, and it has been since day one of the problems to solve, right? And we did all the errors. Uh, that's how we learn, right? And it's important to fail so that we can learn,
Yeah,
right? We experimented with bridges. We experimented with a lot of other technologies. We learn the hard way that it's not the way to go. To create honeypots that have a gazillion dollars in them and very weak
yeah,
points that are not decentralized,
yeah,
that have to be centralized, and people involved that are not trustworthy because people are not code. They do dumb shit, right?
yeah,
Uh, and all those uh, together in a bridge system, it's a recipe for disaster, right?
yeah,
And it's impossible to implement bridges in another way, right? Uh, there are some technologies like interblockchain communication systems and stuff like that, but it's a completely different beast.
yeah.
Don't think it's the same. A
It's
bridge is
not.
something that is centralized completely,
Yeah,
and IBC is something that needs to be implemented at the protocol level, right? So it's the protocol level that initiates communication between the different chains and sends messages back and forth, right?
yeah,
And there are a few attempts in that direction in the Polkadot ecosystem and many others. And even on EOS, we were
yeah,
involved in some projects involving IBC, and so we have experimented a lot around this, and right now this is just a fun fact. Chainlink is launching off-chain uh, decentralized interoperability, and it's a success, right?
yeah. Well, we will see. It has to be proven, right?
Man, man,
Within that time, we'll prove it.
don't say anything. Just say it is very safe and very good because banks are buying into it. And if we can hack the hell out of banks, we should, right? Let them buy. Don't say, shh.
Yeah, well, but it's like every new technology. It will have to be time proven, and we will see with time. But IBC is the latest new thing, and it seems to be working quite well. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, interoperability is very interesting because it's the way to move stuff from the
Well,
boundaries of
yeah,
a chain, right?
you have to connect the all most of the blockchains. Not all of the blockchains are connectable, but you need to have
The
a link
future,
between the blockchains.
I think everyone is conscious right now. A few years ago, there was the Ethereum killer, there was the Bitcoin killer, that
Yeah, well,
was the this and that killer, and right
I think
now,
all killers ended up dead,
it's a fun fact.
right?
It's a fun fact, or
Yeah.
not completely dead, just because there are zombies around.
Yeah, well,
People don't believe, but
we
there
are in
are.
the zombie age, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that was the killer era, and right now everyone understands finally that the future is multi-chain,
Yeah,
and it's good to have multiple chains,
of
and
course.
it's good to have public chains and private chains,
Yeah.
and in the middle chains and whatever chains,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah.
Uh,
The beauty of that is that each chain can be optimized for a certain purpose, and that's how it's supposed to be, right? It's not like a multi-purpose chain will be the winner, because it's pointless to have a chain, a blockchain that it's good on everything. It won't be possible to do that. So you will have a chain for this, a chain for that, and you will have to interop between them.
my mother doesn't agree with you.
Yeah, well, I can discuss
I
with
am
your mom.
positive that yours don't agree with you either.
I can discuss with
There
your
is,
mom. We have a nice dinner together, and we can discuss it.
yeah, uh, yeah. That is exactly the point. What's the point of creating a beast that can handle anything and
Yeah, and it's
everything in
not going to
between?
be good. It's not going to be good at
Yeah,
anything at all. So it will be just fairly good at everything. So
I really think that there will be several layer ones in the future,
yeah,
optimized for different things,
yeah,
right? Uh, General purpose layer ones as well,
yeah,
for
uh,
settlements and
yeah, and
for protocol, uh, public
yeah,
protocols, right?
yeah.
And
And then you will have huge
permission
amount of layer
blocking
twos
for the
and
rest.
to do whatever you want, and in a very fast and cheap way. And you will have a lot of layer two that will also have to communicate between them. So it will be a mess,
Yeah,
but but we will have to manage that.
and layer twos, for instance, they are scalability for layer ones, and I really think that layer twos um, can be useful. Of course, they allow people to create transactions in a very seamless way. Uh, but for now, because in the future I don't see the point of those. I really I see much more uh, use in a single purpose blockchain that is permissioned for a single application, and that blockchain to generate proofs like a layer 2 today on the main chain and transfer value from the main chain to and from the single purpose
Yeah,
blockchain.
yeah, I think that's the main purpose of layer twos, right?
Uh,
It's to
layer
deal with
2
it's to
is
deal
like that
with a
without,
bunch of trash that it's not really important, and then the important stuff will be pushed into the layer one. But the layer two will deal with lots of information, and it will parse a lot of information, and it will filter what is necessary to be stored on the layer one transactions. So I mean, as applications will grow, it can be unsustainable to keep everything on a layer one.
I know.
So application specific stuff should be kept on a layer two.
application-specific stuff, I think, inevitably will run away from layer 2s and implement their own systems and just record on chain what they need, absolutely need to prove that they are operating in a trustless way, and to align everything that they need to align, like the ZK rollups do. It's the same thing, right? But at an application-specific level, not one size fits all, because we are doing the same thing that we were talking about in layer 2s, trying to implement layer 2s that fit every purpose as well. So we saw that layer 1s don't fit
that's not the way
bill,
to go.
and then we are implementing layer 2s that have less security, so that they can have more throughput and less transaction fees, but on the same course.
I don't see layer 2s like that.
Yeah,
I see layer 2s as an application specific thing.
Yeah, I really love that idea, and I think we can explore more of that in this space. There's no need to use a layer 2. We can use our own blockchain, and in a permissioned way, we can even run all the servers. Or we should have
that's kind of centralized.
Yes, I know.
The community anyway. But,
I know, but you can have an incentive mechanism for others to help you with that,
of course,
and have that rolling back to a layer 1 or even a layer 2 of your choice.
Yeah, exactly.
But the more layers we put on top, the more harder it is for the end user to move stuff in and move stuff out and blah blah blah. So that's why I really think that the future is multiple layer 1s with good interoperability between them.
Yes.
And good interoperability between layer 1s and single purpose blockchains.
Yeah.
And decentralized storage. And that's it. But that's my view.
Yeah, well.
So
I think it's the way to achieve decentralized systems is through that. Yeah.
To end our stream in a good way, let's talk about economic empowerment that comes and that we have seen, and we are just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Because we are just 15 years in blockchain and 10 years in
smart contracts,
or 11. So we are just scratching the surface on this space. So economic empowerment that comes with this technology, besides the natural empowerment that is inherited from blockchain itself or Bitcoin values, in Web3, the economic empowerment is not for you to be able to create your own token and do an ICO and raise a bunch of money and run away to Maldives with a coconut on your hand and
go there
with your own $2.5 million yacht and blah blah blah. People that do that shit end up in jail, as we've seen this week. Right?
Yeah.
People that do that kind of shit, not on a blockchain even, they just did it on a centralized company, right? On blockchain is a little bit harder. You would have to have longer hair.
Yeah.
but uh, usually that's not the way to think about it. Economic empowerment is to create good things for everyone, not just for yourself,
Yeah,
right?
well, the empowerment is for the users, not for the
It
ones
can be
that
for
develop it.
anyone,
Yeah,
of
well, it
course.
can be for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as long as you design a good economy that
yeah,
everyone can participate, even yourself, it's
yeah.
good for everyone, right? That's the beauty of Bitcoin. It's good for everyone, even Satoshi. He has 1 million Bitcoin, right? Uh, and he just mined the heck out of it when nobody cares. So that's the
Somebody had to
way.
mine it.
You could, you didn't, right?
I didn't.
So I could as well, and I did. And then I didn't care about it. And yeah, we all do our own decisions, and we have to accept that we messed up. So, but we could, right? And
Yeah,
that's the
right.
beauty of it. That's the beauty of economic empowerment, is to, for me in Europe, or someone in Nigeria, or someone in Bangladesh, or someone in Iceland, uh, we all have the same
Opportunity.
possibilities
Yeah,
to get better at understanding our economy, and how to do better, um, and create wealth for us
yeah,
the right way, not just tr- stealing from millions of people. That's very dumb, actually, um, because if you want to steal from millions of people, you can end up in jail if you messed around with the wrong guys. Uh, and if you, even if you can do it, um, and you don't end up in jail, you just do it once, and then you don't risk doing it twice, because the next time can be
and you
the
cannot do
last time,
anything. You
right?
cannot do anything else. So you
And
have to disappear from the face of the earth, and that's it.
yeah, and what economic empowerment brings is that you can really change your life.
No, you can
uh,
change a lot of people's lives, and that's the
yeah,
beauty of that. So if you just think a little bit about it, to have the right incentives, you can just bring the money to everyone. Because if you build a system and people start using that system, it will bring value to the system, and it's like a company. So if you raise the value of the company, it's good for everyone, either for the owners of the company, for the employees of the company, uh, and for the clients of the company. So because they can
usually
increase the value of the products, they can give money to their employees, they can hire more people, uh, they can
they
give more
can,
benefits.
but they don't have to, and they usually don't.
That's not. I don't believe that. I don't think that it's true. I think you have good and bad players everywhere,
Of course,
and I
of
think
course.
there is around the ratio of
But
around 70 to 80% of good people and 20% of bad people that are very visible. Um,
uh,
so
look,
I mean, and in this space, I think it's also the same. I think most people have good intentions here, and you only see those 20% that are very visible because they suck all the money,
I
and they get into the news because all the other 20,000 projects in the crypto space are not visible.
with a bunch of years in this space, I learned to uh, accept that it's the other way around. If people can do shit, they will. Period. And it's a question of doing things that incentivize uh, good behavior, and this incentivize bad behavior.
Yeah, I know, I know.
If you have incentives to be bad,
Yeah,
if
there is
if
somebody
you
that
will
that
not
will be,
be,
but
someone will,
yes, I know,
and
but
period.
be aware that that is a very, very, very small minority that is even capable of doing that. I'm not talking about want to do that, but it's even capable of, for instance, hacking a smart contract. It's not easy. It's very few people can do that.
What
But
are you calling me? I love
those
hacking smart contracts.
yeah, you are one of the minorities here. So
I love
yeah,
breaking the
well,
shit out
you are a
of other
minority.
people's code.
Yeah, you are a minority here. So the thing is, I think most people and most projects and even most companies, either crypto companies or standard old-fashioned companies, I think most of them are good people. They want the best for their employees, and you only see the shit minority that everybody complains about,
Yeah,
and it's very visible. So yeah, that's my take on that. So regarding the economic power empowerment, I think once again, if people start thinking about their projects as economic projects, they will leverage their incentives
that's the only way to look
and
at this.
penalizations in order to keep the balance of things. And you have quite a few mechanisms to do that. Um, and this is the beauty of things. It's all about inputs and how you process those inputs, and then you act according to those inputs. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. How do you want
Yeah,
to develop this topic? Because
yeah.
we can
Right
enter
now,
a rabbit hole here.
yeah, we I think we already did. I really think that what to close this subject, um, what Web3 brings is a very efficient way for us to design incentive mechanisms that changes lives of people, and we've done that already
Yeah,
in the past, and it's a beautiful feeling. It's very fulfilling, not even monetarily, because if it's done right, it can be life changing for us as builders, right? And it has been.
yeah,
Uh, but the most important, what I care most with what I did in the past in several projects, is what I did to other people.
yep,
Doing things and make money is what I do. I've done it for 35 years.
yeah. The feeling is getting
Uh,
good karma on you.
you can get better at it and make more or
Yeah,
less, but what the good experience that I really love is the messages I was sent from people all over the world telling me, "Man, thanks. We changed our you changed our lives."
yeah,
And with picture of their kids, and with I my projects always run about music and stuff like that, and they were sharing their work, and what the projects empowered them to do with their work, and that's very important. Man, let's finish
yeah.
up
We
with
need to
a
wrap up. Yeah.
let's finish up with a sentence about um, what do you think that Web3 can bring um, to humanity?
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm a bit pessimistic about it.
Imagine, no, just put your pessimism aside, for instance,
All only the good
for
things.
an instant.
Only the good things.
Just imagining that we will break and fall and get up and all that.
Yeah.
We've passed all that, and what can what is your vision
Yeah. Well,
for
I think this
a
is a
bright
little
future?
piece. Yeah, I think this is a little piece of freedom for us. I think this can bring um, somewhat a freer society in several aspects, either in clarity, because everything is like we were talking about in the openness topic, but also for this economic empowerment. I think this is very powerful, and it can bring a lot of wealth to the humankind, and
Access to wealth.
yes, and because things can be really optimized on this is tough to explain. You have a lot of middlemen within every kind of operation that you do, since you are doing primary sector stuff to services. You have lots of
Intermediaries.
exchanges, intermediaries in between, and all of this can be optimized quite a bit. So this will, from my view, or on one of the sides, it will bring the cost of products drastically down, and especially on the services part, this will be dramatic. And on the other hand, all those people that will have to be fed anyway, because they are people and they will need to work and to have uh, some source of income. They will have either to find other ways to work, or more, if things go really far, as I expect, they don't even have to work. The thing is, I don't believe that. I believe that everybody should work. It's mentally sane. I cannot stop working, but the power of not having to, it's huge here.
I That's another empowerment that this technology brings, and that's called uh, entrepreneurship. Uh, I think we will bring uh, that word to the minds of the masses very, very soon, and that's the perfect mix right now. I don't think if I don't think that this is orchestrated. I really think that a very interesting mix is happening, which is AI coming uh, for a completely already jobless society, because most of the things that people are still working, they shouldn't be already, because there are robots that are doing stuff much better and
Yeah,
24/7 and don't go for vacation and blah blah blah. So uh,
some will.
and with AI right now, this will be a mess
Yeah,
completely. It will be insane to employ people.
yeah,
And I really think that most of the people will learn the hard way because they don't pay attention. But some of us can learn the easiest way, which is seeing what is coming and
yeah,
adapt.
yeah,
And this is another way out of this system to a better reality, which is turn everyone into an entrepreneur uh, and build your own uh, systems
yeah,
to help others on chain using blockchain technology to track all the inputs and outputs from your system to the outside world and generate income with that. And that is one way out. If you have a problem to solve, just go for it and implement a proper economic model so that you can make some money and people can have their problems solved for a little money, and
Yeah.
that's it. So yeah, I really think that that is one of the most important things that this technology has to solve, is to solve the economic uh, unsolvable traditionally problems that we face right now, which is deflation completely um, in a downward spiral, unstoppable, because AI and technology is highly deflationary,
Yeah.
and a jobless society that will not have any access to any jobs because jobs were last
Will
century
become
stuff.
obsolete.
Yeah.
It's
So
I don't
tech,
know. It's weird to think
this
like
is a
that.
burden on our backs, guys.
Yeah.
We are the developers. We need to do this right, right? So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go for it and bring some very robust and very helpful economic models that people can clone and build their own systems. And I think we are on the right path. Um, it will be hard. I'm pretty sure, but I think we have the technology and we have the power to do great things. And with great problems come great engineering, right?
Yeah.
That's the only reason for engineers to exist. If there were no problems,
Yeah.
why should
They
we
had to
have engineers,
invent those
right?
guys.
So yeah, let's wrap up right
Yep.
here. The usual stuff. If you got any value from this video, just smash the hell out of that like button.
Yep.
And
Right. And if you want to reach us, just get to us in our Telegram, Twitter, and all those social media stuff. We'll
exactly,
try to reply as soon as we can.
leave us a comment down on the comments if you want to clarify anything. We will reply for sure.
Yeah, if you
And
have questions, doubts, suggestions, just get to us, and we'll try to show that perspective or
if
try
you
to clear it
enjoy
out.
our conversations and our discussions about technology, uh, join us every Monday at 5 p.m. UTC. We do this every week. So join the conversation, come, say hi. And yeah, this is Decentralized Podcast. Thanks for joining us in our mission to decentralize the world
Wisely.
wisely. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you in the next one.
Bye.